I don't know if this will surprise you, but I was born in the year 1991. So I haven't met many people my age that know more than Epic and stuff. You know, I've
Right.
dug into their back catalog, and most people I meet that love the band as much as I do are older than I am, so it's a little different.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense. And basically in 1991, Mike Patton was already singing with them, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
'Cause he
So you
joined in
weren't even,
88.
yeah, you weren't even born into the Mosley time, you know?
Right. Right.
For sure.
What got me started on them was in 8th grade, just a random friend of mine's like, have you ever heard the song Epic? Of course, that's how I got into them. So once I heard that song, over
Of course.
time, I bought their greatest hits, dug into it, and just I guess, how old was I then? 13. So I guess for the last 14 years, I just kept hearing more and more, and then Mike Patton's other projects, and then I got into the Chuck stuff, and then when I got to meet Chuck, when Chuck came to Nashville, after I saw, that's what made me really dig into all of his stuff, Faith No More and Non-Faith No More. So I know.
You know, I believe, did you see him in the Nashville gig?
Yeah.
Like right before he passed?
Yes.
Right before he passed?
Yes.
That was, I seem to remember them speaking of that gig, that they really had a good time at that gig.
Really?
Because we spent, you know, during the last 2 years when he did the acoustic, you know, tours with Doug, I spent a lot of time with them, you know, and, you know, we would go, because I've known Chuck for so long, we would talk about all the gigs and which ones were better and why did you think these were better, and, you know, sometimes it was just that they were poorly attended, which
Yes.
kind of can break someone's spirit, and, you know,
The
all
Nashville
kinds of...
show was booked at the last minute. Like all the other shows around that time were booked plenty of time in advance, and they were able to add that one like 2 weeks before the show. So probably not many people were aware that he was even coming.
Well, in New York, that's very ironic because in New York, we went to a show on Long Island, which the night of the show, or the day before they changed the venue, they canceled them. And that was the night that, and here's the irony of the situation,
Roddy.
is that Roddy showed up, Roddy came into the city with us, and it was a show that I was there, Chuck was there, Roddy was there. So for certain people that knew who Chuck was going way back, they got a super treat because, you know, these were people that knew Ann's song because they knew the Chuck years. They obviously knew Roddy because Roddy's still in the band, you know. So even though, like, when, you know, like that turned out to be one of their best gigs, you know, you just don't know, you know, like what can happen. So
I've seen
I know
video
that
from the Mr. Beery's show.
like, I do believe that Nashville was one of those shows, but you know who could actually tell you that as well is Doug, you know, like, because Doug was there for all of those, you know.
Me and him talk a lot, even though I didn't really meet him at the Nashville show. I talked to him briefly because the bass player started playing the beginning of Ann's song, and I was just like, yeah, keep doing it. And at the end, he's like, hey, man, sorry about Ann's song. And then I started doing this show on YouTube, and I contacted Doug from looking his number up, and he didn't, like, remember me, but we've been acquainted since then, and he knows I was at the show.
Oh, it's funny you say that because the bass player did the same thing when I was there one night. Yeah. And I shot him a look like, what are you doing? You know? Right. And then people in the audience were so sweet, and they made us promise that if he came there to that gig, because he had already done it in two years in a row at the same club, and they were kind of like, oh, if you come back next year, Ann, will you go up and sing your part? You know, like when you tell them stuff, and, you know, so we were all kidding around going, all right, we'll do it next year, you know, I'll do a duet. But, you know, of course, that never happened, and I don't even know if we were serious. We were kind of kidding around, you know, like about that, you know, that I was going to get up there and say, yeah, do whatever the hell you want to do, but, you know, we were just kidding just because people were asking about it and they were disappointed. That was kind of cute, so, you know.
I feel you. Is it okay if I do a formal introduction where I would start recording and then we start rolling with the questions?
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
So this is usually I do it. Good afternoon, everybody. I know it's been a little bit, that this is the ring, the cage, and the stage, and we have a special treat for followers of Faith No More and all Faith No More fans out there. We have Ann Dagnillo on the phone, which the song Ann's Song was written about and for. How are you doing today, Ann?
I'm doing great. Happy to speak with you.
I really, really appreciate it, and I hope all this cool stuff we gathered today, any stories you have or anything you can share with us, can be shared with anybody who is a follower of the scene and a fan of all of their music. I just want to start by asking, how did you and Chuck Mosley first become acquainted, and was it before he started playing with the rest of the guys from Faith No More?
We met, I believe it was 79. It might have been early 80. And we both worked at a movie theater together in Los Angeles called the New Art Theater. And, Chuck had another job. He was a grocery packer, and at night he'd come work at the movie theater. And cool. We became friends. He was a wild man, and I was there with my boyfriend who was a musician, and Chuck was a musician, and everybody was either a film student or a musician working there. So we kind of just became friends, and he actually introduced us to a lot of people that we've stayed friends with for a long time. He was in a band earlier. He was in a band.
Haircuts That Kill?
No, even earlier than that. I'm talking about, like, when he used to be, he was in the, I believe it was the Animated, was that the name of his band?
Yes.
The Animated. And I have one of their records.
I bet that's rare to find.
Yeah, it is pretty rare. And I believe Billy was in the band because, they came, and I remember they came and they took some photos for, like, promotional photos where we lived, like, in our courtyard.
Now, the Animated, Chuck did not sing in. Did he play keyboards? Am I right with that?
Yes, he did play keyboards. He might have done some singing, too. I don't know, but he definitely played keyboards in that band. And they played a lot on a double bill with a band called Pending Spectrum.
I've heard of them.
That's Johnny Edwards and Mark Stewart and Art Terry. These are some very incredible musicians that came out of Los Angeles at the same time.
Wonderful.
That are all, and I'm actually friends with all of them still. With Johnny, with Stu, who's gone on to form a band. His name is Stu Stewart, called The Negro Problem. He had a film. Spike Lee did a film about him.
Really?
Strange play. That's a good old friend of Chuck's. Chuck introduced me to him.
I love Spike Lee
Terry,
films.
Yeah, and Art Terry is living in London now, and he was in bands with both of them, and he has a radio show, concentrates on black culture and music, and he's an incredible artist as well.
That's what's up.
Johnny Edwards is here in New York singing and acting and producing. So, it was a pretty tight group, that all went on to do a lot of things and stayed in touch as well.
I honestly was not 100% sure, but in the video for Ann's Song, you are the girl with the punk rock haircut that's standing, like, next to Chuck towards the beginning. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. I'm kicking the, I start off coming in on the skateboard, and I kick the globe.
Because there was a few people in the video.
Studio, poking the baby in the studio in the beginning.
Right.
That's not my apartment. That's somewhere in Los Angeles. Tamara and Lisa filmed that in Los Angeles somewhere, I believe. But all of this stuff on the streets, in the apartment, with the other people. Actually, Johnny Edwards is in the video.
Really?
And he was from Pending Spectrum, but was Chuck's friend from. She knew Chuck before I even did.
I got you. How did...
He lives 5 blocks from me here in Manhattan, Johnny. We're quite close. We speak, every other day, twice a week,
That's what's up. How did you first get wind that not only the band was naming a song after you, but afterwards that it would also become a single and music video, which I read in the recent release Faith No More book, Small Victories. So everybody else had a certain idea for where they wanted that video filmed, or maybe they wanted to use another song off the record, but Chuck was like, no, I want it done at her apartment.
Oh, you see, I I didn't even know that he put his foot down like that. All I know is this. My friend, I have another friend named Ann, and she was living in Los Angeles in 1986, and I wanted to surprise her by going to visit her in Los Angeles, so for after Christmas. So I got a flight out there, and Chuck knew I was coming, and Johnny Edwards was visiting his mother. He already lived in New York, and they all came to pick me up at the airport. Like 3 different cars came to pick me up at the airport, and we were all going to surprise Ann.
Right on.
So we went and surprised her, and Chuck picked me up, and then later on that night, or maybe the next day, we were driving around, and he told me he had a Christmas gift for me. And I said, oh, all right, what's that? You know, and he just put the cassette in the car deck. And, you know, the first song came on, Faster Disco, and that was great.
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, I heard him screaming my name in the tape.
No way.
And I'm like, what the hell is this? He's like, it's your song, and I wrote a song for you.
And this is definitely before it was released to the public,
oh,
right?
Yeah,
Obviously.
It was on his original tape.
Rough demo.
Yeah, it was on the board tape.
That's amazing,
you know?
because the beginning of Faster Disco, just, I'm sure nothing even needs to be said.
I say the honest truth, because the record hadn't even come out yet. I listened to that tape over and over. I had no idea what the songs were even named, because I just had the tape. You know,
right.
I knew all the words to Chinese arithmetic, but I didn't know that was the name of the song.
Oh, I understand how that goes.
Yeah, because I just didn't. He didn't put all the songs on it. It just said Chuck on the tape. I still had the tape.
So.
And then I accidentally taped over part of my song, like within 5 days, because I was telling Chuck, I tried to turn it on, and I was trying to tell Chuck that I sang it to my family. And so right in the middle of the song, you hear my tape goes, hey, I was singing it to my family like 4 times. And
nice.
So I've ruined the tape.
Well, did he have another copy to make for you?
I got the record. It didn't even matter at that point. You know,
right.
It didn't matter. But because it was originally a B-side on We Care a Lot,
yeah.
Like, I kind of never expected it to be a single, and the single was not released till at least a year and a half down the line from the release of the album.
I mean, that song is ranked as one of the greatest bass lines from Bill Gold out their whole catalog. I mean, that is a really cool bass line.
It is. It truly is. I know it is. But I don't think that they ever expected to make a single out of it, because the fact that it wound up on the album, on the B-side, and then had its own single with a disco single was kind of weird. So
right.
When he called me and said, we're making, a video from it, I'm like, a video from it? I said, but it's a B-side. And he said apparently there was a European market that was asking for it. I mean, that's the story I heard.
Right on, and other critics have even claimed that Ann's song, they described it as Chuck Mosley's closest moment to, like, if he were to put out something poppy. Do you kind of know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, because he was always complaining that, not during Faith No More, but afterwards, that always when he went into the studio, he wanted things to be a little harder and not as poppy.
Right.
And I admitted to him, I said, well, we were at the gig in 2017, I believe, or maybe, before he passed. I said, we were on the street. We were walking around in Manhattan, and we were just hanging out, going to the park. Chuck loved to come, walk around Manhattan with me and eat pizza and sit in the park. And
that does sound fun.
Just regular stuff, it was like his freedom, to just do. Because you can't really walk around that many cities that are that hip, that everything is in one neighborhood like mine.
Have you ever been to Nashville?
Not yet, but I'm gonna. I've been wanting to go to Nashville for a while, actually.
I got you.
I had some friends that moved there too. But we were walking down the block, and it was after the gig the night before. And I said to him, I said, no offense, Chuck. I said, but what is the fascination conversation with Ann's song. I said, although, obviously I love the song, and it's, so precious to me, I could talk to Chuck honestly. And I said, it's not one of the best songs on the album, I believe. I said, I really, 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 really like other songs better than it on the album. And he laughed at me. And I said, well, why are you laughing? He said, and it's the second most requested song I get from the Faith No More days. He said, it's always We Care a Lot, and then it's Ann's song. And I just really, I couldn't wrap my head around it at a certain point. But then I realized it had more of a universal appeal. It wasn't as niche, as niche as the other harder songs, that I enjoyed a little more. And so did he, in a way. But I remember, though, that he had told me he didn't know what he was going to name the song. At one point, he said
they named so many songs after other people just because they don't have a title at the time. That's just what they put as a working, like Mark Bowen and other stuff.
Right, and he said it was going to be named Flames of Passion at one time, and I was like, why would you name it that? We don't have Flames of Passion, you know what I mean? He said he just liked it, and then he said, well, then they were going to name it like Tiki Rum Party or something, because I used to go to Jamaica all the time, and that's the island he's talking about, the Island Princess, even though I'm from Long Island.
That would make sense.
Jamaica every year. So, he explained a couple of things to me, 20, 30 years later that I didn't know, about that, But that was okay.
Well,
and,
the rest is history.
Was there another part of the question I didn't answer?
No, I said the rest is history. You totally answered my question.
Oh, okay, because sometimes I go off on a tangent.
No, that's good. The more information, I am just interested in just listening to everything you have to say because it's stuff I haven't read before. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, we had those last 2 summers of tours that hit the East Coast were, really fun for us. Like my husband and I, like they stayed with us anytime they could. They stayed with us in the country, at my country house. That was the last time I saw Chuck. In my country house, and he was so happy and so content, and then they went off to Pittsburgh and played, and that I heard was they almost canceled that gig because they wanted to go to a show at Bethel Woods, and I was like, nah, you can't do that to fans. I am not going to be the reason you ever cancel a gig because you wanted to go to a concert with me, my husband, you know what I mean?
That's understandable.
Get on the road and go to Pittsburgh. And then when I heard back from them, they were like, that was one of the best gigs we ever did was that Pittsburgh night. I said, well, you had a good night's sleep, we had a barbecue, we had fun. Chuck,
this was one of the last times?
Yeah, and he never moved from the front porch. He just sat on the front porch saying, this is paradise, the whole time. Because it's really hard for them on the road. You've got adult men sleeping on people's floors and on couches. And
crammed in a van?
In the van. It wasn't even a real van, you know what I mean? It was like more of a station wagon, and I finally had an opportunity to hostess them at a home where there was a lot of bedrooms, and I have, it's like a B&B, so it was just nice to give them some more luxury,
That's good.
In between, because their gig the night before was in Kingston, and then the next gig was Pittsburgh, and I was like 3 hours, 2.5 hours for Kingston, and then Pittsburgh was another 5 for me or something. I told them, you can't drive 8 hours at night. You have to stop at my house on the way.
Well, so that definitely gave them a refreshing thing in their head before the next gig, a good rejuvenation.
Exactly. I said, you kids cannot do that in the car. You got to come and stay with me. I promise. I'll make everything nice for you. My husband and I will take care of you guys for the night. It was truly, out of all the times I've seen him, if I had to have a last memory, it was absolutely the most beautiful memory.
That's good.
They were trying, and for what I found out from Doug later is that, I told them, next time you go on an East Coast tour coming through Ohio, since you have to pass through Pennsylvania, let's plan it so that you can come for a day or, reboot yourself and then send yourself out. And if possible, on the way back, do the same thing. Because Pittsburgh, right after that, they went back to Ohio. It's right there. It was like they're funneling back into Ohio. And apparently, what I didn't know was that Chuck actually was quite excited about doing that. He was like, "That's a great place to stop by." It was. He would ask Doug, and you can ask Doug about this.
Yeah.
After a gig, do you think we could get to Ann's house in the country from here? Is it too far from the next gig? Which warmed my heart so much, which meant he felt at home.
Man, I met the guy one time, and like I said, there wasn't a lot of people at the show, so I got to talk to him for a good while. You know, I didn't want to bother him the whole time, but he was just like talking to a regular person. It didn't feel like a celebrity at all, and that's a good thing. But he just seemed like the most down-to-earth guy, and even Doug agreed with me. I mean, he seemed like someone who would have probably been cool doing an interview with me had he not passed away. And